Hello friends, welcome back. Today I am going to elaborate the reactions behind silica test. We know while doing any full analysis, we follow two ways, by baking and by fusion and then baking. There are two types of silicates available in materials. One is soluble silicate and other is insoluble silicate. Soluble silicate is available in any burnt material like clinker and OPC, and insoluble silicates are available in any unburnt material like shell, clay, fly ash, etc. For any burnt material where soluble silicate is available, we follow the method of baking. But in case of unburnt material where insoluble silicate is available, we follow the process of fusion. Now starting with soluble silicates. For soluble silicates, analysis is started with baking. 2.5 gram of sample, 10 ml of 1:1 HCl is taken and it is boiled. During boiling, soluble silicate, which is represented by MsIO3, reacts with HCl. This reaction produces silicic acid and metal chloride. This silicic acid during baking is converted to silica and H2O. H2O, that is water, then evaporates when the baking is done to dryness. The dry mass after the completion of baking, which contains now silica and metal chloride, is again dissolved with water and then filtered with Fatman 40 number filter paper. Metal chloride, that is MCl2, dissolves completely in water and passes out with the filtrates, whereas silica in the form of white precipitate remains as residue above the filter paper. After the washing done for few times, this filter paper is taken in the crucible and ignited, which is then weighed and calculated, and we get silica as white mass. Now, unlike soluble silicate, analysis of insoluble silicates contained in any unburnt material like shell, clay or fly ash is started with fusion. 0.5 gram of sample is fused with fusion mixture, which contains equal proportion of sodium carbonate and potassium carbonate. This fusion is done in order to convert insoluble silicates into soluble silicates. During fusion, insoluble silicate MsIO3 reacts with sodium carbonate and potassium carbonate in fusion mixture and produces sodium silicate and potassium silicate. Now this sodium silicate and potassium silicates are now soluble silicates. Thus we can see that during fusion, conversion of insoluble silicates to soluble silicates is done. Now after the fusion is over, the mass in the platinum crucible is extracted with 1:1 HCl. This is now boiled as earlier. Again during this boiling, sodium silicate and potassium silicate, which are soluble silicates, react with HCl and produce the silicic acid and sodium chloride and potassium chloride. Now as earlier, baking is done to dryness, where silicic acid is disintegrated to silica and H2O. H2O, that is water, is evaporated during baking to dryness. Now as earlier, this mass is again dissolved with water, filtered with 40 number filter paper, ignited and weighed to get the silica. Thank you. If you like me to continue, please share and subscribe.